I'm going to teach you another way to vet corrupt nonprofits. This matters because there are people raising millions of dollars, taking resources away from the real cause, but also just simply exploiting that cause. Now, in the world of combating child trafficking and exploitation, we're going to call the people out that are very intentionally exploiting the problem. So this is a whole series. Lock in. A lot of people think that resources like GuideStar or great nonprofits are a good way to vet nonprofits. They'll look them up to see what their rating is. I understand the intent. It's kind of like Yelp for nonprofits, right? But I want to let you in on a dirty secret. Nonprofits can rank higher simply by recategorizing expenses. You heard that, making no changes to how they operate and what they spend money on or what they pay themselves or their family and friends. They just have to call it something different, and often it can increase their ranking. Here's one of many examples. When I worked for Veterans for Child Rescue, I was explicitly told to recategorize or basically rename the expenses that I itemized in my monthly invoices so that they could rank higher. Now this worked. The crazy part is we got a higher ranking, and to donors that meant they could trust us more with more donations. I want to pull back the veil a little bit though. So as an example, I'd sent my monthly invoice and then I was specifically asked not to use these terms, which is what I was billing them for, but to recategorize it with one of these acceptable categories. Again, we are making no changes to how the org did things and what they spent money on it. We are calling it something different because on these platforms, it results in a 5-star rating, which looks great for donors. Again, this applies to a lot of different websites, GuideStar, now Candid. The idea is that this helps to rank nonprofits, and I like this idea. I do think we need more transparency and accountability, specifically third-party insight into nonprofits, specifically the ones raising millions of dollars claiming to solve problems, right? But let's look more importantly, because I want you to look past the words and the headlines and the pretty websites. I want you to start scrutinizing all nonprofits because I want you to support the good ones. So I'm not seeing where or how we're combating child trafficking, but also if fundraising is relabeled as the mission without the org doing anything about the mission, yeah, I kind of feel like people should be aware that these rating sites are not exactly accurate because these loopholes are like very easy to exploit. That's why you can't stop at ratings or headlines or websites. You need to look past that. You need to actually look for measurable results. Where did the money go? Like, look at how much money they brought in. Where did that money go? Does the output match the input? Now, this particular organization I worked with for over 3 years, so like I know too much, right? And I did a lot to ask them questions directly, and of course they responded like guilty people do, and unfortunately like that told me a lot more. So what I'm revealing here is only at the, scratching the tip of the iceberg, but I just want to give you some public information to help you vet other nonprofits because there's a lot of people exploiting the problem of combating child trafficking in the United States. They're using those words, but are they doing that work? That's what I want you to look for.